Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we're going to be testing out a couple of new products that I picked up from e.l.f. I went to their website last week to pick up a couple of things that I've been meaning to stock up on, namely their wax pencil that I can't seem to find anywhere else. But of course, while you're on their website ordering, you gotta get the free shipping. So I got a couple of other things that I'm very excited about, including the new Retro Paradise eyeshadow palette that I have not heard anyone talk about yet. I did just see, literally before I started filming this video, that Allie Glines has a video going up on this, but I'm really excited about this palette. I also picked up their Wow Brow Gel. I've mentioned this in another video, and then I have quite a few blushes that were on sale that I got that we're going to try out today as well. So this should be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing a lot of swatching today. We're going to test out the other products that I got. Hope that you guys are excited about it. Before we jump into the video, a special welcome to any of you that are new to my channel. I hope that you'll stick around for a while, hit that notification bell. Wait, subscribe first, then hit the notification bell if you would like to be notified every time I upload a new video. And with that said, let's get right into it. So let's go over what exactly I got. I mentioned I got the brow gel. Here is the eyeshadow palette. Let me open this thing up for you guys. You probably can't see it with that reflection, but I think this is such a pretty palette. It does remind me a little bit of the Mercury Retrograde palette that Huda Beauty did last year, but correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like this one does have quite a few more neutrals, and these are some pretty awesome neutrals. I did already dip into this palette just a little bit. I had intended to do like an unboxing kind of e.l.f. try-on haul, but I got the box and I was like, well, let's just open the box. Then I opened the box and I saw the palette and I was like, let's just open the palette. And then of course I had to swatch a couple of shades, but I haven't swatched everything in here yet, so we will do some swatches for the first time together. But I am super excited about this palette. You guys know I love an eyeshadow palette that has a large amount of neutrals with a couple pops of color, so this looks like a really fun one to me, and there are some interesting and unique colors in here. But I also want to show you guys the blushes that I got. So I picked up 4 of their primer infused blushes. These are the shimmer blushes. I have tried out one of their regular primer infused blushes. I do really like that one, but I'm even more excited to try these ones out because I do love a good glowy blush. But I want to show you guys the 4 shades that I got first, and we'll kind of swatch them together. 3 of them look very similar, and then I have one here. This is this like bright pink that I'm sure is going to be way too bright for me, but we'll go ahead and swatch it because I know there are some of you out there that probably have more medium to deep skin, and maybe this would work a little better for you. I have to say, with the packaging of these primer infused products that they have, it's a huge step up in packaging. I don't know if over time these are going to last, but they're really nice and kind of high-end feeling, which is a big step up from the original. Remember the $1 e.l.f. products that they used to have? Those were like Wet n Wild packaging. They never lasted for more than a couple of months. So here are the 4 shades all lined up together. Let me go through each one individually, starting with this one right here. This is the shade Always Breezy. The one next to it is the shade Always Hazy, which looks like more of like a nude, almost a berry sort of bronze. That looks really pretty. Over on this side we have Always Lucky, and then this one is Always Silly. So I specifically want to hold these 3 up together just so you guys can kind of see how subtle of a difference there are between these two, especially these two right here. They look really similar to each other. So let's go ahead and swatch them. I want to start with kind of the lighter bronzy rosy one. This is the shade Always Hazy. They are pretty soft. We're gonna just swatch them on the back of my hand. So there is Always Hazy. Okay, that is quite shimmery. Ooh. Let's go with this one next. This is the shade Always Silly, which is just a very nice soft pink. Ooh, this one's pretty. Okay, that is like a true bubblegum, like a light bubblegum pink, which I love a good bright, just basic pink. It doesn't have too much peach, but it also doesn't have too much blue in it. It's just like a standard pink, and I love a pink on the cheeks in the summertime when I have a bit of a tan. This one right here is the shade Always Breezy. Let's give this a swatch. Okay, this one is a bit darker. So now that I've swatched them, they look a lot more different swatched than they do in the pan. So again, we have the shades Always Hazy, Always Silly, and Always Breezy right here. Now let's swatch the deep shade right here, which is the shade Always Lucky. Now this is a shade that I probably won't get a lot of use out of right now, but I think in the fall, I love these kind of berry tones in the fall. It is really pretty. It actually is not quite as intimidating looking swatched. It is still intimidating looking, but I do know if I use a really light hand, and even I find with blushes that are too pigmented like this, I like to dip my brush into them, tap off my brush, and then I like to kind of go onto the back of my clean hand and get some of the excess product off before I go onto my cheeks, and that's a really good way to get a blush that maybe is too intense for you to work for you. There are the blushes. Very pretty. I'm really excited to give these blushes a try today. So we're gonna hold off on applying the blushes right now because I want to do my eye look first since I'm not quite sure what we're going to do for the eyes. So let's take a look at this beautiful eyeshadow palette. Such a pretty palette and a good variety of colors in here. Plenty of neutrals, both light, medium, and dark, as well as a few fun pops of color. I'm really excited about this one. I think I'm more excited about this palette than any palette e.l.f. has come out with yet that's kind of in this size. I know so many of you guys have talked about is it the New Classics palette, which I do own. I've used that palette maybe twice, and I think it's a great palette, but for some reason, those colors, they're just so neutral that they don't call my name. Like, they don't call for me to pick them up, which is kind of funny because palettes like this that have a couple pops of color, even though I don't often use the pops of color, they get me excited enough to use them that I'll grab these kind of palettes and still end up just going for the neutrals. So, oh man. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of finger swatch some of these shades. Let's start with some of the matte shades. So I want to start with this light brown right here, and then we'll swatch this. This color looks so pretty. It's like a corally muted red. And let's take this deep matte brown and then this peach right here. We'll get into the colors in just a minute. So here they are swatched on my finger. Ooh, I do love that pinky red. Oh, it's kind of calling my name. Forgive this one right here. That's actually the blush that we just swatched. Now let's jump into a couple of these colors. So I'm going to take the purple and the green. Again, we're sticking with the mattes. I'm going to take this deep blue right here. That looks so pretty. It's like a denim blue. And then let's take this orange over here. So pretty. Okay, so we have the purple, the green. Oh, that green looks really fun. The blue. Oh, that blue looks nice. And the orange. Ooh, I love a good orange. That's a nice one. Okay, these mattes are really beautiful. They're really nice and pigmented. I do just want to swatch a couple more neutrals. I want to take this brown right here and then this black. For those of you that love your neutrals. So this brown, I'm going to swatch it up here next to this brown right here. It does have more of like a cool, almost khaki undertone to it, like a green sort of brown. And then here is kind of the black. That's a pretty good black. Alright, so I feel like that's a really good color range. I feel like you have every color in there that you would need, and no matter what your skin tone is, you're going to find something here that will work for you because you get such good range. You get really dark, but you also get a lot of mediums and a couple of lights as well. So that is it for the mattes. Now let's go to the other hand and swatch some of the shimmers. So this color right here, I did swatch this, and it's so pretty. It is such an interesting color. It's like a pink that has a purple and green, maybe even like a blue shift to it. So we're gonna go ahead and swatch some of these shimmers. Let's start with this one. Then we'll take this kind of green gold. Then I want to take this white, which I have swatched. It is really pretty. And then the blue right here as well. There they are. Oh man, guys, these look promising. So starting with that first shade, it's right here. Look at that. It's like gold and pink and green all at the same time. Then this kind of classic, kind of greeny bronze. It's kind of a classic brass. I love that color. And here is the white. This is a really, really pretty shade. It's much more sheer. It kind of reminds me of like a glitter topper, which I love a shade like that because it can transform other shades, especially matte shades when you put that on top of a matte color. And here is the blue. This is a really fun blue. I don't think I own anything like this. And there's just two more shimmers in here. This kind of classic bronze and then this purple shade right here. I have to say, I think e.l.f.'s formula has come a long way. And I do think the formula in the New Classics palette is really, really good. Their Opposites Attract palette I thought was pretty good. There were a couple shades in that one that I felt like were a little hit and miss. Ooh, but these are looking really good so far. Look at that purpley blue. That is such a fun duochrome. So here are the swatches on the back of my hands. I know they're kind of a mess, but you can see the color story. Really beautiful palette. I'm super, super excited about this one. So I'm really drawn today towards this kind of watermelon shade. I want to use that. I'll probably use some of the medium and dark browns, and I really want to use this topper shade right here and maybe the white. Let's just kind of get to work and kind of see where we end up. So let's start off. I want to dip into, let's go to this peach right here, which is the color Fuego. And I'm taking that on my Rephr number 16 brush. I've had a lot of questions from you guys about this brush. I always forget to link it. I need to start linking my brushes, especially like the brushes that I use most all of the time, or the brushes that I especially love. Like, I should always link them in my description box. I always forget, but man, you guys, I don't often like to recommend high-end, especially brushes, because they can be so expensive, but I am telling you guys, this is the best brush I have ever tried. It is absolutely amazing. I mean, I love my Wayne Goss brush, but if I had to pick between my Wayne Goss brush and this one, if I had to pick between any of my brushes, I would take this brush to the grave with me. It just is the most versatile, softest, high quality brush that I've ever tried. I absolutely love it. It's the reason I use it and talk about it all the time. There is a part of me that feels kind of bad that my Morphe M504 brush, which has been my favorite brush for like 3 years, since the day I started my channel, and I do still love it. It's a great brush for the price, but this one is better. It's not synthetic though, so that is something to keep in mind. If you are cruelty-free and you only use synthetic brushes, this one is not synthetic. Okay, so that's a really pretty transition shade. Now let's jump into this kind of watermelon shade right here. So we're going to take on that same brush, mostly just on the tip, and I'm going to concentrate this just a little bit more kind of in the crease. I am taking it a little bit above, because if I don't go slightly above my crease, when my eyes are open, you're not going to see any of my shadows. So I try to take it a little bit up onto my brow bone. I sometimes get comments from some of you, or some people, that tell me I have so much brow bone space, I should really be taking my shadow up a lot higher in my brow bone. And I have tried it. I don't like to have a lot of shadow on. Like, I like my eyeshadow to be a little bit more subdued. I kind of like that effect. It's just kind of a personal preference thing. So I do want to build up some depth in the outer corner. So I think I'm going to build this kind of watermelon shade up in the outer corner, and I'm going to take the Rephr No. 2 brush for this. And we're going to tap this all over this outer half of the lid. Oh my goodness, I had to laugh. So one of you left a comment in one of my last videos saying that you heard in the background someone saying, "Daddy, no!" It was not my children. They were watching The Little Mermaid. If you guys remember the part where the dad comes in and destroys her whole collection, they were just in this room behind me. My son and my daughter were watching Little Mermaid, so that's what that was. And that's just kind of what things are like in the summertime. Well, really, since this quarantine started, because really summer started March 13th, to be exact, because my kids have been home since March, and this is just our life right now. I have to kind of work around having kids at home and having a busy house and lots of noise, and that's the reason for the background noise. So thought that might give you guys kind of a good laugh. That is such a pretty color. Oh, I love it. It's like pink and red, but also a little bit neutral at the same time. I really love that. Okay, I want to start building up some depth first. So looking at the swatches on the back of my hand, I think I want to go with this brown, because it does have a little bit more of like a warm kind of purple tone to it. So we are going to take the Rephr No. 13 brush, another great brush from them, and I'm going to take the shade Coconut. We're going to start building this up on the outer corner. And I kind of want this to be like, I don't really want to go into my crease. I really want it to be like a, kind of like a smoky wing shape. Now I want to go back to that Rephr No. 2 brush, and we're going to take just a little bit of that watermelon color, and I want to smudge that under the outer half of the lower lash line. And if you don't like pinks, especially on your lower lash line, you could definitely use that first kind of peach color. And that's definitely another thing that I've noticed. I sometimes don't like using pinks or reds on my eyes, because I do think you kind of walk that line of it looking really pretty, and I think some people it absolutely does and they can pull it off, but if you don't get it just right, it can make you look a little bit sickly. So if you are one of those people that you feel like pinks look very sickly on you, try keeping the pinks just to the upper eyelid and putting something else like a peach on your lower lash line or a brown down there. Now I'm just taking a little bit more of that watermelon shade and kind of feathering it on top of that brown. We're kind of going to go back and forth until we get a really nice seamless blend right here, and then we will work on the lid. And back in with the brown and the No. 13 brush. Really want to concentrate this just right at this outer corner. These are blending really, really, really well. They're a little bit powdery, but not terribly bad. Now I'm just taking what's kind of left on the brush, and on the outer corner I'm kind of like going back and forth between the upper lash line and the lower lash line, just to really kind of smoke out that corner, both on the top and the bottom. I'm going to take that number 2 brush, nothing left on it, I'm just kind of cleaning up this edge right here. My hair looks awful today. It's okay. Alright, now we're going to go into the shimmer. This is the shade Paraiso. Oh, so excited about this one. I just have a feeling this is like the kind of shade that really rounds out this palette, because I can see so many different colors in it that I feel like it goes with anything in here. It goes with the reds and the pinks, it goes with the browns, it would go with the greens, or even the purple, or the, maybe not the teal blue, but I don't see why you would use those two together. But anything matte inside this palette, this color is gonna go with. I also feel like it's just light enough that it works for me. You guys know how much I love my bright inner corner shades, but it's not so bright that it wouldn't work for someone that has a deeper skin tone than me. Oh, I just think it's beautiful. Such a pretty and unique color. I don't know how much that's coming across on camera, if you can see the pink and the green. So I do want to take a little bit of the white. I think I'm just going to take that on my inner corner. So I'm going to take this brush right here. This is just a low Cornell art brush. It's actually not a very good brush. I can't find my refer brush, but I'm going to take the shade Sea Salt. That is such a cute name for this shade. And we're going to just kind of tap that right on the inner tear duct. This shade would have also been really pretty all over the lid if you wanted something really bright and sparkly. Alright, I am pretty happy with this eye look. I think we are good. I'm going to now take my Wet n Wild liner. I'm going to add a little bit of liner to my upper waterline, probably a little bit to the outer lash line, as I usually do. Then I'm going to take some mascara. I think today I'm going to use my Tony Moly mascara. And then I will be right back with you guys and we'll finish off with the rest of the face. Alright guys, so here's my finished eye look. So I actually didn't add any eyeliner either on my waterline or on my lash line, but I did take that last little pointy brush that I used, the Refer number 13, and I dipped it into a mix of the brown that we used and also a tiny bit of that black, and then I just lightly kind of feathered it right here in my outer corner just to kind of wing things out, deepen things up a little bit, and that is the finished eye look. Let's finish off with the rest of the face. I do want to add a little bit more lip product and then we're going to jump into the brows. So today I just used the Wet n Wild Send Nudes Liquid Catsuit High Shine. What is this stuff? It's a lipstick. It's like a liquefied lipstick. I got the Wow Brow Gel in the color Taupe. I think I'm going to try and put this in my brows first, and then if I feel like I have some sparse areas, we might go in with a brow pencil and add that a little bit later. So here it is. The packaging is really nice and cute. Very small, as is most eyebrow gels, which kind of drives me crazy because I actually go through brow gels kind of quickly, and sometimes I wonder why they make them so incredibly small. Am I the only one? So this does have some fibers in it. It looks pretty light. Let me actually just like wipe a little bit on the back of my slightly dirty hand. As you can see, it's barely even visible. I would say this is gonna, if you have very blonde hair, this will probably work great for you because it's very, very lightly tinted. I might add just a little bit in my tail, but let's get the other side first. Alright, so that was pretty easy to use. They look really good. We'll see how it lasts in my brows. I do think I want to add just a tiny bit into the tail of my brow. I'm just going to take my Ulta Beauty Ultra Fine brow pencil in the color. Let's start on this side. This side's pretty dry now. This is the color Ash Taupe. Okay, this does have like the tiniest bit of stiffness to it, but it doesn't look wet. It's like a subtle stiffness, but very impressed with this so far. So now let's jump into the blush. I wish I would have left those swatches on the back of my hand. I'm gonna go ahead and re-swatch those blushes again. Pause. Okay, so there's the blush swatches again. I'm really curious about that first color. I think I do want to use that first color. So let's go in with the color Always Hazy. I'm gonna take it on my e.l.f. blush brush. Okay, these are really powdery. Be very gentle when you dip into these and make sure you're using a really soft brush. It's not always an indicator though of how it will perform. It is pretty subtle. So this color does need to be built up a little bit on my skin tone. If you have very fair skin, it might be a little bit more pigmented on you, but I do think it is really pretty. Really natural looking. Alright, so there is the blush, and with that, you guys, that is it for the makeup look. Very happy with this look today. Happy with the blushes so far. Super impressed with the eye look today with these eyeshadows that I used so far. I love this eye look, and I might even say I might like this eye look better than any of the eye looks I did with that Natasha Denona palette. That's crazy. I do really like that palette, but I don't know. I feel like I like this a little bit better. It's just a little bit more different. Is that blasphemous for me to say that? I did really like that palette, but this eye look I think is stunning. And you know I'm gonna like a $14.99 palette more than I like a $65 palette. That is it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this makeup look. I hope that you enjoyed watching me play with a couple new products from e.l.f. Let me know what you guys think about this palette. Is it something you're interested in? Are you guys just paletted out? I know there's been a lot of palettes emerging again lately after we kind of had a little pause there during the beginning stages of the COVID shutdown, but now I feel like things are getting crazy again. I hope that you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Thank you for watching this video, for watching any or all of my videos. I really appreciate it. I hope that you have a good one, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye. Including the new retrograde, no. Consider subscribing, stick that notification bell. But here, keep saying but. Man. The shade Always Lucky. I thought it said lazy. Always Lazy. Now there's a blush that I should own. Okay, that's fine. Make sure you eat some lunch before you go. And sunscreen. Summer. Summer is so... If you are a parent to kids over the age of 5, summer is such a busy time to keep your kids entertained. Even if they're independent, they always need permission, they always need help texting their friends or calling their friends, they always need rides. Told my kids, I'm filming today. Take care of yourselves, but no, we've got plans. Plans in the works, always. Pause editing, Mandy, and make sure that you remind yourself to actually do that, because you always say you're gonna do something and you forget. Seriously, what is wrong with me?